Welcome to the CV Confidence Coach podcast with your host, Liz Maguire, where she helps you to learn the secret of an interview-winning CV. Liz shows you how to deliver a compelling CV which increases career confidence, optimizes your professional visibility, and opens interview doors. Tune in weekly as she shares proven and simple strategies to help you craft your interview-winning CV. Make sure you head over to www.giraffecvs.co.uk to subscribe for our free newsletter with more CV writing and career tips.
Hello. Sorry for the radio silence for a little while. I've had a cold and slightly lost my voice, so you'll have to bear with me today. But I wanted to record the podcast this week and talk about how to manage LinkedIn endorsements. Okay, so if you're active on LinkedIn, have you given the endorsements on your profile much thought? Do you feel they make a difference? Or perhaps you're conscious that they're there, but you haven't really got to grips with how you can manage them and best use them to your advantage. So what are endorsements? Well, first things first, let's look at what endorsements are and their potential benefits. When you create a LinkedIn profile, you're able to add a list of your key skills to your profile. And this enables you to show potential employers or clients at a glance that you've got the skills that they're looking for to fill a particular position. If you scroll down on your LinkedIn profile, you'll see a section called Top Skills, and hopefully there'll be some transferable business skills with some numbers to the left-hand side of them. And over to the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see lots of little pictures of people's faces within your network, and these are the people who have endorsed you for the skills that you've noted on LinkedIn. So your first level connections can add their endorsements to your specific skills in your list. This is a bit like publicly giving a vote of confidence. Rather than a show of hands, the thumbnail photos that appear next to each skill tell people who are viewing your profile that according to these individuals, you do have the skills that you say you have. Your top skills list is an excellent way to highlight the skills that you want to promote, while endorsements are seen as adding credibility to your profile and showing that your professional network recognises your skills and is willing to vouch for you. By endorsing others, you can help them to build the strength of their profile so that they can discover opportunities related to specific skills. It's a good way to build relationships. Endorsing one of your contacts is a subtle way to put yourself back on their radar and perhaps even open up a conversation. So, how can you manage your LinkedIn endorsements? Although, as I've mentioned, endorsements can really add credibility to your LinkedIn profile, they need to be properly managed to have the greatest impact. First of all, make sure that your endorsements reflect your career goals. It's likely that the skills that you want to prioritise and be recognised for will change over time, depending on what's happening in your career and what direction you want to take next. The skills that you listed when you created your LinkedIn profile may not still be relevant. They might not reflect the strongest skills that you have today, or they may not be the skills that are highlighted in an advert for an ideal job. So it's a really good idea to keep an eye on your skills list and make sure that it reflects the skills that you want to promote. Highly endorsed skills will edge their way to the top. So if a lot of people are saying that you've got a particular skill, this will go to the top of your skills list. But what if your most highly endorsed skills aren't the ones you want to showcase? There's a couple of ways you can tackle this. It's absolutely fine to ask your connections to endorse you for specific skills. Just let your connections know which endorsements would help you to pursue your career goals. Here's how to request relevant endorsements. If you want something, you need to ask. So don't be shy, but at the same time, make sure that you make your request in a polite and engaging way. I've seen 2 successful approaches to this on LinkedIn. First of all, a while back, a contact approached me by direct message, and he said something along the lines of, "I hope you're well. I'm refreshing my LinkedIn profile, and I would like to make sure that my skills and endorsements reflect my strengths and services. Here are the skills I'm hoping to showcase, blah, blah, blah. And I'd really appreciate your help with this. And if I can return the favour in any way and endorse skills based on my experience of working with you, I'd be grateful. Thanks for your support." So this was a really nice message, and of course I was delighted to endorse the individual for the requested skills, no problem. Another approach was someone who actually used a status update on his LinkedIn profile to ask his network to endorse him. I think I personally prefer the direct message approach, but just see what works for you. You can also edit your endorsements. LinkedIn actually gives you the facility to edit and reorder your skills and endorsements so that they reflect your current career goals. When you log into your profile, simply click on the up and down arrow icon next to add skill, and you'll be given a range of options. You can reorder your skills. You can remove or hide skills that are no longer relevant. You can hide or show endorsements from specific contacts on LinkedIn. And you can also choose whether LinkedIn shows your connections endorsement suggestions. So, when you log in and they say, "Would you like to endorse Claire for washing up?" And you say, "Yes, fine." Well, you can select whether LinkedIn does this to your contacts in your network. So another tip to manage your endorsements is don't include skills that could be associated with a more junior position. Although it really can be tempting to showcase every skill that you've developed ever during your career, some skills really will reflect a more junior position rather than your current level or career aspirations. So just sanity check this. I would also really encourage you to delete endorsements and skills that no longer serve you in your career or your job search. LinkedIn actually allows you to list up to 50 skills. If you use all of those slots, it can be quite an overwhelming list for people to read and may actually draw attention away from skills that you really do want to prioritise. So it's much better to have a smaller dedicated list of skills and associated endorsements that really do reflect the skills that you're keen to highlight and that are going to progress your career. So it might feel worrying or counterproductive to delete skills, especially if they've got a large number of endorsements, but it really is absolutely fine and good practice for you to remove skills that no longer serve a purpose. If you've changed career or you're looking to take the next step on your current path, I definitely recommend cutting any irrelevant skills because endorsements for those just won't move you forwards. On the other hand, don't be afraid to add new skills. As you learn new skills, be sure to add them to your list on LinkedIn so that they can begin to generate endorsements and gain more visibility on your profile. It reflects well on you to have an ever-growing and evolving skill set as you master new skills and you're learning and progressing. So don't view it as a static list. You can definitely update it. So who should you get endorsements from within your network? We're probably all aware that there are some people within our LinkedIn network who are more likely to endorse their connections than others. Just bear in mind that having endorsements for every skill from your mum, your best friend or other half, or even the same colleague will perhaps dilute the value of those endorsements. People will be able to spot that the same people are endorsing you for every skill, and if you share a surname or obvious personal connection, it may come across as irrelevant or a biased vote of confidence because, of course, your mum is going to say you're great. Unless you forgot Mother's Day, so don't do that. But worse still, it can look fake, as though you've asked someone to go through and endorse every skill for you. One way to stop people arbitrarily endorsing your skills is to untick the checkbox that says, include me in endorsement suggestions to my connections. And this way, people can only endorse you if they actually look at your profile, and this might make them consider the skills that they want to endorse you for a little more carefully, rather than if LinkedIn's showing them a suggestion and they're just clicking it to action that box. And as I've mentioned, it's perfectly acceptable to ask people in your network for endorsements, or even to hide endorsements from a particular person if they're too prominent. As a final point, check for duplicate and added skills. As your connections can suggest and endorse new skills based on their experience of working with you, it's really quite possible to end up with duplicate or interconnected skills. For example, event planning, event management, event managing, or even silly irrelevant skills, things like underwater basket weaving or dumpster driving as a joke. So just be aware of this. And having lots of similar skills with slightly differing names can make your profile look unfocused and call your attention to detail into question. It can also weaken the impact of endorsements by giving you a couple against each listed skill instead of consolidating many endorsements against a single skill set. So I'd recommend taking some time to make sure that your skills are focused, targeted, and free from duplication or practical jokes. You may have to lose a couple of endorsements along the way, but your profile will still be stronger for tidying up your skills list a bit. So when was the last time you looked at your LinkedIn endorsements? Are you confident that they reflect the skills you want to showcase? And have any random skills made their way onto your list? Make sure that your most highly endorsed skills are the ones that you want to showcase. Okay, get busy, enjoy, and I'll catch up with you next week. Thanks again for listening.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the CV Confidence Coach podcast. If you did, please do leave a review and subscribe here in iTunes to make sure you don't miss the next show. Head on over to www.giraffecvs.co.uk to subscribe for our free newsletter for more CV writing and career